Thank you so much. Good morning.
Can you rap this commercial?
I was going to ask that. Can you do something with my name? If you can, then you are a genius. Do you mind if I come down and up here? I feel alone. When you speak, you don't like to feel alone. You like to feel like part of the crowd. Have you learned something today? You have? Some people are like, if you haven't, just wink and Josh will not be upset. Turn to the person next to you and say, I am glad you are here today. You need it. Say, you need it. You need help. In 2009, Andre Agassi, in his autobiography, made a shocking revelation. Andre Agassi revealed that he hated the game of tennis. Think about it. A game that made him a household name. A game in which he was number one. A game in which he made over $55 million over his career. That's like saying, like Colonel Sanders saying he built Kentucky Fried Chicken but hates chicken. How can you hate a game at which you are good at? Andre Agassi was not living in the sweet spot. He was miserable. Very few people knew that he had succumbed to drugs and so much turmoil inside. Very few people knew what he went through for most of his career. Now you see, his story is not unique. The emptiness that gnaws on the inside is not unique to Andre Agassi. Now, because he is popular, because he is a celebrity, it's overblown. But I guarantee you that for most people, they wake up wondering, what does today hold? When they're brushing their teeth and looking at themselves in the mirror, they're wondering, is this all my life is about? There's that sense of unfulfillment on the inside. There's an emptiness on the inside. And over time, I have found that this emptiness is an equal opportunity offender. Regardless of if you're rich, poor, or in between, emptiness is emptiness. Now, I will say this. If you're broke, you're broke. Okay? If you're broke, you have a different set of problems. However, the more successful you are, if you are not fulfilled, the worse the emptiness becomes. That is why, statistically, suicide rates are higher amongst rich people. Is that motivation for you to find fulfillment in life? How many of you want to be successful and rich? If you didn't put your hands up, you should not be here. We all want to be successful. There is nothing wrong with being successful. There is nothing wrong with being rich. Not the way the world defines it, not the way society defines it. Agassi did not live in a sweet spot. Now you are wondering, what is your sweet spot? Your sweet spot is that place in life where certain naturally occurring factors in your life converge to deliver fulfillment and satisfaction. And it's made up of three simple elements: your talents, your interests, and your passion. Can you repeat that with me?
Talents,
Interests, passion. What I call your tip combination. Your tip combination, because if you find the unique combination that is yours, you unlock the vault to your fulfillment. And the beautiful thing about finding this is that you don't have to spend any money, well, except for buying my books. Hey, I had to throw that in there, okay? Think about it. You woke up this morning with your talents, your interests, and your passion. You drove here today with your talents, your interests, and your passion. There are so many people at work right now sitting down asking themselves, what am I going to do with my life? Yet within them, they have their talents, their interests, and their passion. Agassi was talented. He was rich. But because his misery, his lack of fulfillment shows one thing, that with talent alone, you can't be fulfilled. There are other things that go with it. Now today I will unpack this sweet spot and talk about the three elements. Now with the time I have, I cannot go into detail in everything, but I will spend most of my time talking about talents. Because I found over my 3 years of talking about this, that this is where people really struggle with their talents. What are my talents? What are my talents? In studying this, in talking about this, in talking with people, I found 4 things that were similar in their lives. People who are living in their sweet spot. 1, a deep sense of fulfillment. 2, a life of purpose. 3, their talents were engaged. And 4, how many of you believe in retirement? How many of you want to retire? You want to retire? Okay. Well, these guys don't want to retire. They plan to do what they are doing now till the day they die. These folks on their deathbed, they'll still be giving instructions. Okay, this still has to be done this way. They plan to burn out all the way through, go all the way to the end. And in thinking through this, I came to 3 conclusions. That 1, you can't live the life that is not yours. You tolerate it. If you're living a life that is not yours, you are just tolerating it. 2, you can live the life that is yours. You just have to find it. 3, life starts when you stop tolerating the life you're living now. If you are not in your sweet spot. So who's excited about finding out their sweet spot? Yeah? Who wants to find their sweet spot? Okay. Like I said, it is easy. Say it. It is easy. Easy. I came here with it. Good. And you will live with it too. So let's start with talent. Your talent, simply defined, is an ability or natural set of abilities with which you were born. You did not buy it, you did not negotiate for it, you did not learn it. You came out of your mother's womb with a gift. That is the foundation to your purpose. Your talent is an indication of what you are meant to do in life. So many times I talk with people, and when I give speeches and presentations, people tell me, oh, I don't have a talent. I don't think I am talented in anything. Is that possible? It is that they have not discovered their talent, or that which they do naturally well, they don't recognize or appreciate as a talent. Because society celebrates the singers, the basketball players, the athletes, those that are on TV. Anything that you do naturally well is a talent. And you say, Kenny, what do you mean by anything? Anything. You mean anything can be a talent? Yes. Anything can be a talent. Let's take a poll here. How many of you have kids? Okay. How many of you were once kids? Just check. Okay. How many of you growing up as kids did not like your rice to touch your peas and the beans had to be separate? Food had to be separate on the plate. Anyone here? Okay, Hank. Anyone else? Chip. I would expect that from Chip. Anyone else? How many of you have kids like that? Okay, you have kids like that. What do you tell them when they fuss about not eating their food? When they fuss about their food touching their plate? What do you tell them? It's all going to the same place, right? What if I told you that simple thing is an indication to a child who is organized. Do you make lists?
Yes.
Chip, do you make lists? You don't. You are organized in some ways, Chip. I know you. I know you're all over the place. That child who is fussy about things being in the right place, that is an indication to an organized child. Here's what happens. Because we don't see it as a talent, because we are ignorant about the fact that that is a talent, we squash it. Now, for those of you that have that need for your food not to touch, the rest of us think you're weird. But really, disorganized people like me need people like you. Did you get that? I have a friend who, and I talk about her in the book, Leah Bay. She's the CEO for Gwinnett Medical Center in Duluth. That's how she was when she was a kid. Everything had to be in order. She still is a list maker today. Leah is so organized. So organized. What she was as a kid is what she is today. Your talents are indications to what you're meant to do in life. Anyone, everyone is born with something. Some have more talents than others. And see, we're not meant to compare ourselves with others. We're simply meant to focus on what we've been given and use that to build an amazing life. There are three things, I'll talk about three things that hinder people from finding out about their talent. I mentioned ignorance. 2 is your family environment. You know, there's some family environments that are just toxic. You know, the kid who likes to draw and paint and who is good grows up in a family that says artists are poor, they starve. What are you going to do with that? That will not feed you. Growing up in a family like that squashes that child. And what do? They try to fit in to society, fit into something that they are not naturally. I grew up in a wonderful family. Let me tell you my story. My parents wanted me to be a doctor. Me, a doctor. That was the plan before I was born. And okay, I came out, I knew nothing else. From the womb, you will be a doctor. After my first year in college, oh no. I would have killed my patients by now. I'd be in jail. Seriously, patience is not a gift. It is not. Listen, I missed the boat on patience. So, and it's good that I can say this. So if I am short with someone today, hey, I already fessed up, okay? I already fessed up. I graduated from college with a degree in botany. People are like, huh? Yeah, when you realize that the path on which you're on is the wrong path, and you don't know the path to get onto, confusion sets in. So for years I wondered, started many businesses, some failed, some grew, closed down. All the while, walking around feeling empty. Had some successes in life in a few things, and people would, I'd have all these accolades, and people would say, man, you've done a good job. But on the inside, there was something missing. Something missing. I started searching. I started thinking about my gifts, my talents. When I served as a missionary in Zambia in 1998. Now, I did not plan that. It just happened. But I realized in speaking to people, I came alive. I came alive. What I do now is what gives me life. Not just speaking, because then there are people who speak but don't need to speak. They just want to hear themselves talk. And those are the people that you tune out. Now, please don't tune me out. I need you guys with me. Over the years, I started to learn what I was created to do. As a child, I was not the shy kid. I was very good at engaging adults in conversation. But my parents did not see that. They didn't see it. They just thought, yeah, every child does this, so nothing different about him. He will be a doctor. And we will have our Dr. Iloen Yossi. Sorry, Dad. It didn't happen. I told him, listen, I will marry a doctor. But unfortunately for him, I still did not marry one. And I'm glad I didn't. Any doctors in the house? I'll behave myself. I love doctors. I saw my doctor yesterday. I love doctors. And I talk with them often. Hindrance is ignorance, your family environment. 3, comparison to others. I'll unpack this a bit and spend some time on this, on comparison. Some people that recognize that they have a talent don't do anything to develop it because they look at people who are further along and they compare themselves to those people. And they say, I can't do that. I can't be like them. I can't do what they do. Yes, I know I have the talent, but I cannot be them. I cannot be on stage. Say so. They were not born that way. How many of you were born excellent? Anyone here? Oh, good. Because if you had put your hands up, you don't need my session, you need therapy. We were born average. We were all born average. We were born with average talent. Do you create oil? Do you create oil? Do you create gold? What do? You find it and refine it. It's there. It is there. If there is anyone in here who believes they were not born with a talent, hear me. My name is Kene. Don't I look friendly? You can trust me. You can take this to the bank. You have a talent. You have a talent. You discover your talent. Now, what separates average talent from excellent talent is the nurture part. Discover, nurture. This is where we start to grow. This is where we start to add skill. This is where we start to practice. This is where we start stretching ourselves. If you don't develop oil, can it power your car? If you don't process oil, can it power your car? No. If you don't refine gold, can you put it on can you bling it up? Will it be good bling? No. It has to go through that process of being refined, of being developed, for it to be of value, marketable value. In its raw state, like Jace was talking about, it has potential, but till you go through the refining process, you don't get the true value. Same thing with us. Till you go through the nurture phase, your average talent is of no value. And you keep comparing yourself to others and saying, I can't be like them. Yeah. You can't be like them if you don't go through the process. Now let me talk to parents for a minute. How many of you have kids under 10? Okay. Buy the book. How many of you have grandkids? Under 10. Okay, good. Buy the book for their parents. No. Be very, very observant. Watch your kids. Watch them. Kids show what they are between the ages of 1 to 10. Watch them. Take a journal and start to write out, what do they do naturally? What traits are they showing? See, don't be like our parents who raised us in a way that we should not go. You know, the Bible says, train a child in the way they should go. Not in the way you want them to go, and the way your fears about the economy makes you train them. No. Don't let that determine how you raise your kids. If you train them, if you build excellence, if you take their average gifts and help them train into excellence, trust me, they will be sought after. There's a big thing in corporate America now, not just in corporate America, around the world. Employees are not engaged. In a workforce, at any company, only 30%, this is funny, only 30% of people at work are actively engaged. Think about that. 30%. So you have 70% of people goofing off. 25% of them should not be on the payroll because they are actively disengaged. They are doing all they can to make sure your business does not succeed. Why? Because they are not in their sweet spot. It's a dangerous thing not to be in your sweet spot. Because there's so much confusion, there's so much, you are always looking for the next thing. The deception in life is that if I make money, I will be happy. Yeah, you've heard that. So people go that route, try to make money, figure out that, man, I am not happy. So what do? They try to make more money. So that they even skip happy and become happier. How's that working? Not. It's not. Discover your talent. Nurture your talent. Nurture it, because there's so much that can be done with that talent. And when you're done nurturing, when you are excellent, apply your talent. Because there is something you have to give. Each and every one of us has something unique to give. We have a contribution to make to the world. I need you, you need me. Does that sound narcissistic? Some people will say, yeah, that you're full of yourself. No. I need you. I need what you have. You need what I have. I might not sound like it, but trust me, you do. And that's how the world works. That's how the world works. What you have is critical to the success of someone. Don't underestimate it. Don't underestimate that talent. Tell you about a little girl who grew up in a farm, dirt poor, in rural Mississippi. At the age of 6, she grew up with her grandmother. At the age of 6, she entertained herself by interviewing her corn-cob dolls and the crows on the farm. That was how she entertained herself. And everyone would say, oh, girl, you got a mouth on you. Does anybody know who that girl is? No problem. She's still doing the same thing she did at 6. Now, the audience has changed slightly. And that's, depending on the person she's interviewing, that is debatable. Don't underestimate that which you do naturally well. Because God has given you a responsibility to develop it. Okay? So you ask me, okay, how do I discover my talent? I am obviously not under 10. And I will tell you, nobody here looks under 10. So I will not flatter you. You might look under 30, but not under 10. Go back to that 1 to 10 age bracket in your life. That's number one. And think through what you were good at as a kid. What did your parents tell you you did well? What did siblings tell you did well? What did friends or teachers tell you did well? Now, for some of you, you might need to talk with your parents if they're still alive. Talk with siblings, talk with friends. List it out. What did I do well as a kid between age 1 to 10? And then Make another list. What do I do well today? Write it down. Write everything that comes to your mind. What do I do well today? Write it down. Make a third list. What do people tell me I do well today? Write it all down. And then look at the three lists and pick out the common threads. What things do you find in the first list that are on the second list that are on the third list? If you find 2 or 3 things on those lists, it is very likely that those are your talents. And the question is, what will you do with it? Because I promise you, your talents are not far from you. If you work for a company, if you own your own business and you're wondering, yeah, I'm making money, I own this business, I'm providing work, but I am still not fulfilled. It's because you're not in your talent zone. You're not in your talent zone. Find it. Now, as adults, I need to throw in a little warning. And in my book, I call this the skill deception. And somebody sneaked up because you know where I'm going, right? Good. What's your name, Nicole? You're too smart. Too smart. Have you read my book? Okay, good. You should buy the book. Skill deception. We get out of school, we get a job, and we start to work. And we develop certain skills, or we acquire certain skills to be effective at work. And we stay on the job or in the workforce so long, and we keep developing those skills that at some point, we become very good at those skills. And people tell us, man, you are good at this. But it's a skill. You were not created to live out of your skills. Because your skills were learned. They came from outside in. Your skills are meant to support your talent. If you are living in your skills and not using them for your talent, you will burn out. Because it's not coming from the inside. We were created to use our talents. When you find your talents, find the supporting skills to help your talent exceed and excel. There are so many people who are working really hard, but they don't like what they do. They've learned the skill. They're good at it, but they keep asking themselves, I need to do something else. Is this all it's about? I am not fulfilled. I am not satisfied. Talent. So we've talked about talent, and I said it goes through 3 phases: discovery, nurture, and application. And you find the best time to discover your talents is between the age of 1 to 10. Let's move to interests. And I'll take questions at the end, okay? Let's move to interests. Now, what is an interest? That's simple, right? Something in which you are interested. Simple. Simple. But interests are the fun factor. You enjoy talking about them, you participate in this interest, maybe it's a hobby. It's just something that you enjoy. Singing is a talent. You have the voice, man, you make angels cry. I don't know why they're crying, but you do. Now, your interest might be country. Your interest is obviously freestyle rap. Your interest might be blues, jazz. Your interest might be hip hop. Your interest might be rock and roll. Yeah, Sherry, you look like a rock. But do you see how they have the same talents, but their interests take them on different paths? The interests are the differentiator. And finding your interests, well, as adults, we have so many interests. We have so many interests. You should. But I want you to think through the interests that will complement your talent. That's why I spend so much time talking about talents, because your talent is the foundation to living in your sweet spot. If you are passionate but you have no talent, you'll just be a happy person. How many of you watch? Oh boy, I'm going there. Okay. How many of you watch X Factor? American Idol? You can put your hands up. Okay, it's not. It's okay. You can put your hands up. Those shows are proof that there are wicked parents alive. Seriously. Do you see parents who bring their kids to the auditions and the kids suck? They suck. And the parent says, oh, I know my baby can sing. My baby's so good. I apologize if you've taken your child there. Wow. Your interests are the fun factor. I'm trying to. That is a pet peeve for me. Your interests help you define where you use your talent best and how you have fun. So, I'll quickly tell you how to figure out what your interests are. And I have a process in the book. But you break your life up into 5-year segments or 10-year segments and ask yourself, in each segment, what were my interests? And go through, what were my interests between 10 and 15, between 15 and 20, 25, 20 to 25, and just go down that way till you get to how old you are today. And ask yourself, what were my interests then? What are my interests now? If you have some interests that have come with you from your teenage years till today, I think those will be your strongest interests. Now the question is, how do you work the talent and the interest together? I can't answer that question for you. If I could, I'd be very rich. But you have to do it yourself. You have to do it yourself. Third thing, we've talked about talent, we've talked about interests. I'd like to talk about the dangerous guy. Passion. Passion. And I use an analogy to define passion. Life, I'm sure you've all heard, life is a journey. Yeah? So if life is a journey, your talent is the car. Your talent is the car. Your interests are those two or three good friends that you can go on a journey with. Note, I said good friends that you can go on a journey with. How many of you know that you have good friends that you cannot travel with? You will pay for them to fly and you will meet them there. Yeah? Oh, yeah. You're married to her. Okay, that's not on the tape. May your husband not watch the video. But there are people like that. You get in the car and they start to whine about everything. Man, my dog ran away with a cat. This is happening. My job sucks. And they drain the life out of you. But you want those 2 or 3 friends that really energize you. You want them in the car. You can go on a 12. You can drive from here to New York with them. And you get to New York energized. Those are your interests. What is missing? So you have the journey, you have the car, you have the passengers. What is missing? No. Life is a journey. Well, we'll figure out the destination. The driver. Passion is the driver. Passion takes your talent and your interest and sets it on a defined course. Passionate people are change agents. Passionate people want to change something. They want to affect something. They want to implement something. They can't sit down. Passion drives you to take action. Talent tells you what you do well. Interest tells you what you enjoy. Talent, your passion tells you what you want to change. Find your passion and release your talent and interest to your passion. And you become a change agent. And somebody will ask me, oh, what's the difference between strong interest and passion? I'll use a quick analogy. How many of you give to missions? How many of you give to charity? Okay, so let's use the analogy of a missionary. You give, and you give generously to missions. Do you think you are passionate about missions? Do you think you are? Huh? Yes? Okay. The missionary is the passionate person. You have a strong interest. The giver gives money. The passionate person gives their life. The passionate person puts their life on the line. You can be passionate in business. Starbucks is a company built on passion. Howard Schultz is passionate about taking care of his employees. That is his passion. Now, this is debatable, but I think Steve Jobs' passion was simplicity. Did he invent the MP3 player? No. Did he invent the computer? No. Just make it simple. Find your talents, find your interests, find your passion. Find the intersection and you find your sweet spot. And in your sweet spot, fulfillment, satisfaction comes. Be it in business or in the work you do. It is within you. It is within reach.